Hello guys, my name is Chao Wang, and for this presentation, I would like to talk to you guys about Parkinson's disease, also known as Parkinson's disease or PD. Parkinson's disease is a chronic and progressive movement disorder in which the neurons deteriorate over time, which causes the symptoms to worsen over time as well. The damage and death of neurons is a result of a slow production of neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine plays a significant role in a person's ability to regulate their movements, body, and emotion. Here are some statistics regarding Parkinson's disease. It affects more than 6.3 million people worldwide, and men are 1.5 times more likely to have Parkinson's. It affects 1 in 100 people over the age of 60, and 15% of them are diagnosed before the age of 50. Let's take a look at Parkinson's disease in the United States. About 1.5 million people are affected by the disease in the US. 60,000 people are newly diagnosed each year, and 23,000 people die from the disease each year in the US. In order to explain how Parkinson's disease affects movements, it is important to understand the basal ganglia, which is made up of the caudate nucleus, putamen, and the globus pallidus. Dopamine plays an important role in neuron deterioration. The substantia nigra releases dopamine that excite both the caudate nucleus and putamen, which both have inhibitory effects on the globus pallidus. The globus pallidus, when excited, exert inhibitory effects on the thalamus. On the other hand, when it is inhibited, the thalamus is freed and activity increases. So the net result of the dose of dopamine is an increased stimulation of the thalamus, because the globus pallidus' inhibitory effects are blocked by the caudate nucleus and putamen. Patients with Parkinson's disease have less dopamine because of damage to the substantia nigra. Less dopamine leads to less excitation of the caudate nucleus and putamen. This leads to less inhibitory effect on the globus pallidus. The globus pallidus is then free to exert more inhibitory effect on the thalamus. This results in a slower onset of movements. Symptoms begin after 70 to 80% of the substantia nigra have deteriorated. Some of these symptoms include rigid limbs, muscle tremors, slow movements, slow on cognitive tasks such as imagining events or actions, difficulty initiating physical and mental activity. The basal ganglia have cells specialized for learning to start or stop a voluntary sequence of motions. These cells are impaired in patients with Parkinson's. This results in difficulty with spontaneous movements in the absence of stimuli to guide their actions. Patients with Parkinson's can sometimes walk well when following the parade or walking up a flight of stairs because of the presence of guiding stimulus. There are no known causes to Parkinson's disease, but scientists suggest that both environmental and genetic factors are responsible. Mutation of certain genes can lead to Parkinson's disease, and in about 15% of those with Parkinson's have a family history of the disease. Parkinson's disease is more common than average among farmers and those who have had years of exposure to herbicides and pesticides. Also, MPTP, which can be found in the synthetic form of heroin, also causes immediate and permanent Parkinsonism. Although there are no known treatments that can reverse the breakdown of neurons, there are some that can alleviate the symptoms and help to enhance the quality of life for the patients. These treatments include speech, physical, and occupational therapy, medications that stimulate dopamine receptors, gene therapy that uses a virus to transfer into the brain a gene that increases dopamine synthesis, neurotrophins to promote survival and growth of the remaining neurons, and deep brain stimulation of the globus pallidus or the subthalamic nucleus. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have enjoyed the presentation.